Join us on an adventure of a lifetime overlanding in Scotland.
I was not expecting that.
Make sure to subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with our adventures. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ella and this is Cam. If you are 9 to 5 city slickers like us, who occasionally need to escape the trauma of adult life, make sure to stick around for some of this, and plenty of this. We've never explored the Highlands together. We have absolutely no plan, but sometimes they're the best kind of trips, right? Just going with the flow with no expectation. If you've been following me on Instagram, you'll know we love to hike, wild swim, cook in nature, and basically get as far away from a city as possible when we can. So we knew we'd find a way to make all of these things happen on this adventure. After a long 9-hour drive from the southwest, we arrived in Perth and Kinross at the most peaceful wooden cabin nestled in a quiet valley. Make sure to check this place out in the description. The cabin is all made from local wood, and the lady who owns it was so kind and friendly. What we didn't realise was that tonight we were going to experience one of the most beautiful experiences of our lives. So we've got two maps here, one for the NC500 and one for the Cairn Gorms National Park, which is the biggest in the UK. What do we do? Big decision. We've got 4 nights, 5 days.
Based on our limited time.
It always takes us both an hour or two to settle into outer city life, and we were already stressing ourselves out trying to come up with a plan for the next couple of days. So we decided to park it, head off to the shops and grab ourselves some dinner. We've got some peri-peri chicken wings and some... what's that?
Haggis. Haggis.
It's haggis. Over the whole of the UK, the whole of... I'm so excited, I can't even get it out. Apparently tonight, the whole of the UK can see the Aurora Borealis. Aurora Borealis.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what that is, don't you?
Yeah, the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
Apparently there's going to be something tonight and it's going to be the whole of the UK.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Imagine if we see that, that's fucking nuts.
And Cam wasn't wrong. It was fucking nuts.
I was not expecting that. I've had about 4 hours sleep. I dreamt of the Northern Lights as well once I fell asleep. It took me ages to fall asleep. I was just buzzing. I was so full of energy. And then I woke up at 6. So I've not had much sleep, but it was so worth it. Honestly, that was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So we're going to the Cairn Gorms this morning, and we're going to Braemar to pick up the 4x4 Overland hire truck, which is really cool. It's got a tent box on top. We're still not really sure what we're gonna do in terms of a route. So we're gonna speak to Morven when we get there, and maybe she can help us out with the route, because there's so many options and we just don't have enough time. So really exciting. I'm gonna wake Cam up now because we gotta go.
Morning.
Morning.
Our little hut. Onward on our adventure. As we made our way further into the Highlands, the windy paths got quieter, and so did we. Life already felt like it was slowing down, and the work emails were dispersing from our minds. We're here. In Braemar, we were met by the lovely Morven, who owns 4x4 Overland Hire. She showed us everything we needed to know about the truck. If you love overlanding or are interested in giving it a go, keep watching as I'm going to give you a full tour of this beast of a vehicle. This truck is so cool and you could literally live in it for months. It's designed by a South African overlanding fit company called Alucab, and I've seen them being used in the outback and on safari, so we were so excited to call this home for the next couple of days. And as we'd hoped, Morven was on hand to give us route ideas and recommendations for places to park up for the night. And with the sun shining, she said our first stop had to be Linn of Dee, just 15 minutes drive from Braemar. Can we all just take a moment to appreciate that we are in Scotland in May and it is 22 degrees with barely any clouds in the sky. So Cam just came back from a run and he said there's some more little fairy pools down this way, so we're going to go and check it out. Wow. We're back on the road and we are heading to Loch Morich, which is spelled M-U-I-C-K. It's about 45 minutes from Braemar, which is where we are now. And it's really cool because people are just stopping and staying overnight and camping all over the place, which obviously you can't do in England and you can't do in Wales. So we're pretty certain that we're going to find somewhere to stay tonight. It felt so good to be back in the mountains, surrounded by nature, and we were looking forward to setting up camp for the first time and cooking up some dinner. What are we cooking?
Steak and salad.
We've got some steak, we've got some pepper and avocado salad, and a sunset hopefully. Here's our setup. Our first day in the Highlands was truly magical and we couldn't wait to get some much needed sleep and continue on our adventure tomorrow. but we weren't expecting to have to make such a quick exit the next morning.
Morning. Do you want to shit in the woods?
Not really.
No. Okay, let's go to find a toilet then.
Not the most peaceful start to the day, but we made an executive decision that today was not the day to make use of the trowel and headed back up the mountain pass to Ballater. We found a lovely cafe called The Bothy, which did a great cup of coffee and an amazing Scottish breakfast. One thing we've noticed since being up here is that the locals are really friendly and everybody wants to help you make the most out of your trip. We met a fellow outdoor adventurer who said we needed to check out this beautiful hike around Loch Morich, so we quickly hopped back in the truck and made our way to Spittal of Glen Mick car park. You can find this route on all trails. The loop was about 11 kilometres, flat most of the way round, and the views were incredible.
Left Ballater and now we're going to Glenmore Campsite, which is just outside of Aviemore.
And I think the campsite that we're staying in has a lock, so hopefully we can do some paddleboarding.
Yeah, and a forest too, there's a forest part.
And we've got a hammock, so it'd be nice to put the hammock up. Cam's cooking tonight.
Yeah.
What are you cooking?
Cowboy gravy.
What's in cowboy gravy?
Different types of beans, mince, tomato sauce. It has some beer.
What in it?
Or like something for a bit of like flavour.
Alright. Cam never cooks, so this will be good.
That's literally not true.
Oh! I knew I should have driven.
Yeah.
Today was cloudy, but it's still really warm. And I think up towards Aviemore and then like on the west coast is meant to be a little bit nicer over the next few days, so that's why we're heading in that direction. But we've been so blessed. We haven't had like the stereotypical Scottish weather yet. So we made our way to Glenmore Campsite in Aviemore, which is a well-known Scottish mountain town with lots of activities, group hikes, water sports and campsites. Cam said it was a bit like Keswick in the Lake District, but on steroids. The roads were pretty quiet, passing just a couple of camper vans and hikers along the way, which was so surprising as we're used to the backed up country roads in the Lake District. I've never been to Canada before, but travelling through the pines and remote mountain ranges, it really felt like we'd left the UK. We even passed a couple of ski resorts. Who knew you could ski in Scotland? When we got to the campsite, we realised it was a bit of a different vibe from the peaceful journey, and they were almost fully booked. If you prefer staying in campsites, we definitely recommend booking ahead as they get booked up really quickly in this part of Scotland. People travel from all over Europe to come and stay here.
Should we just park it up and go and have a look?
Yeah.
Initially, we decided it was too much and tried to find a park up on the other side of the loch. But then we sheepishly returned. We're a bit embarrassed because we've just come out of a campsite and said we don't want to camp there, and then we've tried to find a lay-by next to the loch, but it's really, really windy and we're right next to the road, so it's really loud. So now we're going back to the campsite to ask if we can stay there.
Just get one and pay for it as well. Give them all the money.
Oh, I stole his pen. Hang on.
It was really busy, but the facilities were great and they had an on-site pub and shop, hot showers and a toilet, which we realised was a luxury when overlanding. And the real reason we came here was for this. you've ever been wild swimming, you'll know, as you lower yourself into the freezing water, everything in your mind stops, just for a moment as your body adjusts to the temperature. Any negative thoughts, anxieties or worries just go poof. Nothing else matters in that moment, and once you've come back to your breath and look up out at the nature around you, you realise life isn't all that bad. Your mind just needed a little reset. We headed back to camp and Cam got cooking his cowboy gravy. So our leisure battery is on 1%. For some reason the battery didn't charge while we were driving, but with our newfound calm state we decided this was an issue for the morning, and we spent the evening chatting about the adventure so far, reading and watching the sunset.
Remember when I said in the car, I was like, we haven't had that stereotypical Scottish
Yeah, so I definitely jinxed it. But luckily, we were already tucked up in bed by the time the Scottish heavens opened, and it was really nice to fall asleep to the sound of the rain. We had our fingers and toes crossed for sunshine in the morning, as we really wanted to get the paddleboard out. Hello!
Morning.
You sleep well?
Yeah.
Oh my god, if the weather stays like this is going to be amazing today. Because we're literally right next to the loch. There's the mountains. We've charged up the battery, which is good. Because yesterday the leisure battery went dead. And we didn't know where the cable was for the electric hookup in the campsite. But luckily we called Morvin, and there's literally everything in this truck. We were really beginning to settle into these slower mornings, waking up with the sun on our faces, and stepping out barefoot onto the grass has done wonders for our mental health these last couple of days. Sometimes at home, we don't leave the house all day, stuck to our desks and reeling through emails, so this was a bit of a wake-up call. The owners of the campsite told us a pitch in the forest was available, so we hopped in the truck and moved our camp. Cam's heading off for a run, so I'm going to give you a little tour of our Overlander. Let me show you around because there's so much to see. You've got a fridge, which is attached to a leisure battery. Storage boxes, that one's got all of our cupboard foods in. We've got so many cooking utensils, knives, pots, pans, chopping boards. We've bought some salt and pepper, which we'll probably leave in there. Jet boil, there's an AeroPress in there, washing up bowl, wine glasses, you name it. Loads of storage space at the back there. LED lights, there's even a heater which is run by diesel, which obviously for the colder nights would be perfect. And then in the door we've got a fire blanket, hooks and pegs, mallet, there's a water container if you're doing any wild camping, washing line, charging leads, a trowel if you need to go for a wild poo, toilet roll, a shower hose, and my absolute favourite, the fairy lights. You can't go on an adventure without fairy lights. There's so much room up here. We've actually brought a duvet and a sleeping bag. There's enough room for pillows. I feel like someone that's 7 foot could fit in here. You can sleep this side or this side. We prefer having our head up this way because there's a bit more headspace. And there's so much storage here. So it saves you having to keep going back into the cab to get your clothes or washing stuff. Yeah, it's super cozy, but it also, especially with all the windows open, it feels really open, which is really nice. So if it's raining, you can get the awning out, pop that up, maybe put a blanket in here, get cozy. There's literally so much in this truck, you could survive for months and months in this truck. Cam's just come back from a run, so we're going to stick him in the shower. Like a dog. Up there is the solar road shower, so I think it heats up. Whether it'll be hot or not, I don't know.
I wouldn't mind if it's cold because that was a pretty hard run and it's quite hot.
Where did you go?
I went up a mountain which I can't say the name of. But it's a mountain over there and it's quite big. But it was a good ride.
And you can see the loch at the top.
I can see that one, and I can see the campsite.
So cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right, let's
Now
shower.
time for a shower. Getting it ready for you. This literally pops down like this.
Ah!
Nice.
Yeah, really nice. Really warm. It's like really warm. The sun's really heated up though.
So we've got a TENTSILE hammock set up, and I think we're going to go for a paddle and a swim and just hang out here today.
If you are like us, outdoor adventurers who love wild camping or hanging out in the trees, you need to check out TENTSILE, who make the most incredible tree tents and hammocks that suspend you into nature in just a couple of minutes. This is the Trillium 3-person camping hammock, which we love to take on day trips for hangout spots like this, but we also have the TENTSILE Connect tree tent, which we use for wild camping adventures. There really is no feeling like hanging out in the trees amongst the leaves, falling asleep under the stars, and waking up to sun rays and birdsong. I know what you're thinking. I have no idea how to put these up. Don't worry, it wasn't that long ago that we were first-time tree campers, and you will quickly become a pro. TENTSILE have lots of setup information on their website, YouTube channel, and Instagram, so make sure to give them a follow. They even have an app that helps you find the right trees. All you have to do is wrap your trees, attach your straps, tension up, and you're ready to go. TENTSILE are on an eco mission, and by suspending your camp, you protect the forest floors, flora and fauna, and the tree wraps look after the trees you're using. We love that for every tree tent or hammock sold, these guys plant 20 trees, with over 1 million planted globally so far, which is just incredible. These award-winning tents and hammocks are beautifully crafted from high-quality materials for comfort, safety and sustainability, and can be set up over pretty much any terrain: muddy, rocky, uneven. Some people set them up over water and even stack them up on top of each other. TENTSILE have lightweight 1-person hammock tents for solo adventurers, all the way up to 6-person tree tents. And today I'm giving you 10% off, and I'll pop their details in the description below, so if you are a stargazer, hammock lover, or looking for a wilder camping experience, go and check them out.
It's so calm. You can't really see, but there are people camped up all around the loch, actually all of the lochs in Scotland. And it's free, which is amazing. If you want to snap necks, if you want to be a neck snapper, then hire this truck, because everybody looks at it when you drive past.
Oh, it's directing us to
Where?
Florida.
Oh. We're not going to Torridon, we're going to Aviemore.
Some food.
We're going to get some food, we're not going to cook tonight. It's a really cool campsite, but it is really expensive. So our first pitch was £32 a night, which was like basically just in a field. It was electric hookup. And then the second night, tonight, we're staying in the forest area, which is closer to the loch, which is way more private, but it costs £38, which is like ridiculous.
And it's like a proper campsite, so I feel less rugged in this truck.
Yeah.
And I want it to feel more rugged, so I really want to be somewhere more wild tomorrow.
Yeah, like the first night where we stayed like on the mountain pass. So tomorrow night we're going to go and find somewhere similar to that. Like, we've met some other people in the campsite, which is really nice, and it's been nice to be so close to the loch and the loch, and be able to go paddleboarding, and then just be able to like ditch the paddleboard at our pitch while we then go off to Aviemore. So because the truck does take a little bit of a while to get things out and in, if you're doing like the full-blown canopy out and doing cooking and stuff. That's why we're decided to go for food tonight in Aviemore.
We found this lovely little pizzeria with a balcony called Cheese and Tomatin, which of course did haggis pizza. Then we stocked up on groceries for a big hike tomorrow and got an early night.
So it's Cam's birthday this morning and we're going to go for a little paddleboard on a loch. There was a bit of sunshine a second ago, but it's a little bit cloudier now.
Another beautiful morning. We had to check out at 11, so after a paddleboard, we cooked up some breakfast, had a shower, and packed up camp for the day ahead.
Thank you. Very nice.
Nice shower?
Yeah, so much better.
So much better, so nice to be clean. We're about to go for a hike. And Cam did the washing up on his birthday. Sorry, Cam. We couldn't come to the Cairngorms and not climb Mount Cairn Gorm, so we said goodbye to Glenmore Campsite and Loch Morich and drove up into the mountains. Cairn Gorm Mountain is part of the Cairngorms range and wider Grampian Mountains. With a summit elevation of 1,244 metres above sea level, Cairn Gorm is classed as a Munro and is the 6th highest mountain in the British Isles. And I'm pretty sure it's the highest mountain I've climbed. In the winter, this area is used as a ski resort, and you can also take part in winter expedition courses where you learn all about avalanche awareness and safe route choice, winter navigation, how to use an ice axe, and how to deal with emergency situations. Cam took part in one of these courses at Glenmore Lodge last year and loved it, so if you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description. The weather up here was crazy. The wind speed really picked up, and with pretty much being the only people on the mountain, it was super important that we were fully aware near the vertical drops. I didn't expect the route to traverse through an ice sheet. Luckily we had good visibility today, or we may have turned back. The Cairngorms was last fully covered by ice around 18,000 years ago, and this was one of the last little bits that stays frozen all year round. Hiking to the top of a mountain is an achievement, but every hiker knows it's not just about getting to the top. It's about every step, every breath, every challenge along the way. The uneven terrain, steep routes and unpredictable weather, they all test your endurance. But it's these challenges that shape the experience. The blisters, the sore muscles, the moments of doubt, they're all reminders of your strength and perseverance. So when you hit the trail next, remember it's not just about reaching the top. It's about embracing the journey with all its highs and lows, because in the end, that's what makes the summit truly worth it. This is the highest cafe in the UK! Sadly it's closed, so we have to get hot chocolate. Just as it starts raining. Good? I feel fucked after that. The hike hike was about 16 kilometres and it was safe to say we were looking forward to jumping into some cosy clothes and relaxing. As this was our last night in the truck, we decided to make our way back towards Braemar so we didn't have to spend the whole of the next day driving. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Please give the video a like and make sure to hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you know. Bit more. Keep going. Our last pitch was perfect. We were finally pros at setting up camp and we were fully embracing the overlanding lifestyle, which was bittersweet as we knew our first Highland adventure was coming to an end.
Works supervisor.
Don't want to go home. Feels like a much simpler way of living. It would be so cool to be able to do this long term. Couldn't afford it though.
There are so many places to stop, and if you don't like somewhere, what's nice about this truck is you can literally just pack up really quickly and then move on to the next one if somebody turns up or you want somewhere a little bit more wild. And that last one was definitely the most remote one that we've stayed in, which was kind of nice because we sort of like built our way up to that. With the sun shining, we made our way through the pines for one last time, back to the place that stole our heart. You excited to swim? It's our last stop before we give the truck back. And we've come back to the Linn of Dee because it's so sunny. Whenever I see portaloos, it reminds me of traumatic experiences at festivals. Those are pretty nice. It's so green because they've had so much rain over the winter. It makes everything look so pretty. I mean, look. I don't know if it was a family, but 4 or 5 deer just ran through the woodlands over there. Initially, when planning this trip, it was all about wanting to tick off the NC500 off of our bucket lists. And we thought we could do it in 5 days. We probably could have, but we would have spent most of the time in the truck, stopping off momentarily before getting back on the road to reach our next destination. Sometimes when you're traveling, you get so caught up in the popular tourist routes that you miss out on the hidden gems, places like Linn of Dee and Loch Morich. You miss the chance to slow down, breathe, make great connections, and truly appreciate the natural beauty around you. So, if you're planning a trip to the Highlands and you want to avoid the crowds and long drives, we definitely recommend exploring the UK's largest national park, the beautiful Cairngorms. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe and head over to my Instagram for more outdoor adventures. Thank you so much for watching. See you out on the hills.